Apartment building is worth $400,000 when capitalized at 6%. What is it worth when it's capitalized at 8%? This is an example of the relationship between the cap rate and the value. That's an inverse relationship. So if one goes up, the other goes down, like a seesaw. To figure the problem out, I'm actually going to have to do two T formulas. The first one, when the building is valued at $400,000, it has a cap rate at 6%. Using those two, multiplying them together, I can figure out the annual net income of the building. So if I take 400,000 and I multiply it times 0.06, I get $24,000 annual net income. Now the question's asking what happens if it's now capitalized at 8%, which means the cap rate went up. You should know already if the cap rate's going up, the value of the building is going to drop. So we're looking for an answer for less than $400,000. Now I always need two parts to make my T work, which means I'm going to have to carry the $24,000 annual net income over. So $24,000 annual net income divided by 0.08 gives me a new value based on this capitalization rate of $300,000. A 22-unit apartment building was next to a busy highway, thereby losing $160 per month net income. If it was capitalized at an annual rate of 10%, what was the corresponding loss in value? This is just like a cap rate problem. Instead of annual net income, we're looking at an annual net loss. So if the building's losing $160 per month, I multiply that times 12 months in a year to get an annual net loss of $1,920. This goes on the top of my T as an annual net loss. At a 10% cap rate, I divide my $1,920 by 10%, or 0.10, and I get a loss in value of $19,200 based on that $160 that it's losing a month. An apartment complex is valued at $480,000. What will be the value of the same property if a 10% cap rate is used? So looking at the problem, you notice that the capitalization rate is going down. What's going to happen to the value of the building? Well, if you remember your relationships, when the value and the cap rate are compared to each other, it's an inverse relationship. That means that since the cap rate went down, the value should go up. So you should have an answer greater than $480,000. So if I do my T's, and I'll need two T's to make this work, $480,000 in value at a 12% cap rate gives me an annual net income of $57,600. Now I'm going to reduce my cap rate, and I want to see what effect that will have on the value. But in order to make my T work, I need to carry over my annual net income. So now I have $57,600 at a 10% cap rate. A number on the top of the T and a number on the bottom of the T. I divide the top by the bottom, and I get a new value of $576,000.